Welcome to Morganable, where we serve you with authentic news, stories, documentaries, updates, and magazine-style insights on our society and the larger world. And more importantly, about places that fall under the radar of the mainstream media machinery. We invite you to embark on this exciting journey of enlightenment with us. Morganable, your vehicle of enlightenment.
On May 27, 2025, Nigeria celebrated National Children's Day with a unified call to protect and empower its youngest citizens. Nigerian leaders including President Bola Tinubu, his wife Oluremi Tinubu, amongst governors in Nigeria, Ekiti State Governor Biodo Ibanji, the National Human Rights Commission, and the Pediatric Association of Nigeria highlighted the importance of addressing childhood poverty, ensuring citizens, especially children's well-being, and unified call to protect and empower young citizens. They called for the need for collective action against bullying, urging Nigerians to foster kindness and empathy. President Bola Tinubu, during the 2025 Children's Day celebration in Abuja, launched a new nationwide campaign titled See Something, Say Something, Do Something to encourage communal vigilance and accountability in safeguarding Nigerian children. The initiative forms part of his administration's broader commitment under the Renewed Hope agenda to strengthen child protection systems across the country. Addressing the nation, Tinubu emphasized that child safety must not rely solely on government action but also on active community involvement. He described the campaign as a call for every Nigerian to become a child protection advocate, aligned with today's theme, Stand Up, Speak Up, building a bullying-free generation. The president described the theme as timely, pointing out the need to foster a culture where children feel safe, respected, and heard in both physical and digital spaces. Highlighted the urgency of the issue, he referenced statistics showing that over one-third of children globally are regularly bullied, with studies indicating that up to 65% of Nigerian-aged school children have faced physical, psychological, or social aggression. He stressed that such a climate is unacceptable, noting that fear undermines a child's ability to learn and grow properly. Reaffirming his administration's duty to protect children, Tinubu reiterated that child protection has a constitutional, moral, and integrational responsibility. As a central pillar of the Renewed Hope agenda, the government has implemented a National Plan of Action on Ending Violence Against Children 2024-2030, which the President launched himself. This plan serves as a comprehensive roadmap to prevent abuse, prosecute offenders, and support victims with strong financing and cross-sector collaboration. Ongoing legislative efforts are also underway, including the review of the Child Rights Act 2003 and the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act 2015 to broaden their scope and ensure consistent national implementation. The government plans to reinforce these efforts through full enforcement of the Cybercrime Act to tackle online bullying and child exploitation. Tinubu acknowledged a significant milestone, announcing that all 36 states have now domesticated the Child Rights Act. He, however, cautioned that legislation alone is not enough. He called for a holistic approach where parents, teachers, caregivers, faith leaders, lawmakers, and citizens all take active roles in child protection. To facilitate this, the federal government is enhancing the Child Protection Information Management (CPIMS), a digital tool for real-time tracking and intervention in child protection cases. The Federal Ministry of Women's Affairs is also reinforcing community-based mechanisms, training frontline responders, and leading advocacy against harmful traditional practices. As part of structural reforms, Tinubu revealed plans to establish a dedicated institutional framework focused on child protection and development, aimed at ensuring sustained accountability in upholding children's rights. He further spotlighted several national policies and agencies contributing to child safety, such as the National Policy on Safety, Security and Violence-Free Schools, updated guidelines for school administrators, and initiatives by the National Commission for Almajiri and Out-of-School Children to promote inclusive education. Recognizing the link between child protection and national development, Tinubu pointed to major investments in healthcare and nutrition, including the expansion of mother and child hospitals in all geopolitical zones, state-level health initiatives, and the creation of a new department of nutrition in the Ministry of Women's Affairs. He highlighted the nutrition 774 projects and the school feeding scheme as key tools for improving educational and cognitive outcomes. On social protection, the President mentioned the development of the Universal Child Grant and the finalization of a Child Wellbeing Index to assess progress and accountability in child welfare efforts. For children unable to live with their biological families, the President announced the launch of the National Guidelines for Alternative Care for Children to guarantee their care and protection. In a direct message to children across Nigeria, Tinubu affirmed their value, dreams, and rights, urging them to speak up if bullied or harmed, with assurance of protection. He called on national stakeholders to prioritize child rights in planning and budgeting processes. He concluded with a vision of a Nigeria where every child is safe, empowered, and cherished, expressing hope that the laughter of children will echo across the nation as a symbol of renewed hope and a brighter future. In the meantime, while the Nigeria Society commemorates Children's Day 2025, the First Lady, who was the wife of the President, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has urged citizens to take a decisive stand against bullying, describing it as a major threat to children's emotional, social, and academic well-being. In a goodwill message released on Tuesday, the First Lady reflected on the theme of this year's celebration, Stand Up, Building a Bullying-Free Generation, highlighting the urgent need for collective action and fostering a safe and supportive environment for Nigerian children. She emphasized the responsibility of parents, educators, and community leaders to instill values of empathy, compassion, and leadership by example. The First Lady also underscored the lasting damage that bullying can cause in various forms, whether in schools, communities, or online, stating that every child deserves to grow up free from fear and intimidation. She called for a cultural shift that reinforces kindness and mutual respect from an early age.
The Governor of Ekiti State, Mr. Biodun Uyibanji, extended warm congratulations to children in the state, affirming his administration's unwavering commitment to their development and well-being. In a statement issued to his special advisor on media, Yinka Oyebode, the governor emphasized the immense value children hold in society and reiterated his government's dedication to investing in their human capital to prepare them as future leaders and frontliners across various sectors. Describing children as divine gifts with vast potential, Governor Ibanji called for collective efforts among government bodies, private organizations, families, corporate entities, and religious institutions to build a strong foundation that secures their future and enhances societal progress. He highlighted the administration's ongoing efforts in key areas such as education, healthcare, and rights protection. Initiatives like free education, the distribution of instructional materials, and the provision of modern infrastructure and public schools are part of broader efforts to ensure equitable access to quality education for children in Ekiti State. The governor also pointed out that Ekiti has become a model for children's rights protection owing to the rigorous implementation of constitutional and legal frameworks that safeguard their dignity and ensure a safe environment for growth. As part of his message, Governor Ibanji urged parents, guardians, and educators to work hand in hand with the government to nurture children and provide the support they need to achieve their dreams and contribute meaningfully to society. He concluded by celebrating the occasion with children across the state, noted that Children's Day serves as a reminder of the shared responsibility to create enabling environments that allow children to thrive and reach their full potential.
Meanwhile, the Executive Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission (NHRC), Dr. Tony Ojukwu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, expressed deep concern over the rising and persistent violations of children's rights across Nigeria. Marking the 2025 Children's Day, he highlighted that data from the Commission's monthly reports reveal an alarming increase in such cases, signaling an urgent need for society-wide renewed efforts to protect children's fundamental rights. Ojukwu described children as the most vulnerable group in society, and the consistent rise in reported abuses underscores the daily challenges they face. He stressed that these violations threaten not only the immediate well-being but also the future potential and the broader social stability of the nation. As a result, decisive and urgent actions are necessary to tackle these issues effectively. While several Nigerian states have enacted the Child Rights Act, the NHRC chief pointed out the crucial need for stronger implementation of these laws to shield children from abuse, exploitation, and neglect. He also called on the government to establish comprehensive support systems for children in distress. This includes accessible, well-resourced child protection services, helplines, and shelters designed to alleviate the suffering of victims. Furthermore, Ojukwu emphasized the importance of training professionals working with children, such as educators, social workers, healthcare providers, and law enforcement officers to enable them to recognize and respond appropriately to violations and related social problems. Raising public awareness about children's rights is equally vital. He noted, encouraging education efforts aimed at parents, caregivers, and teachers and children themselves. Such awareness empowers children to understand and assert their rights. To ensure accountability, the NHRC later advocated for establishing a strong system to monitor reports and address violations. This would help bring perpetrators to justice and reinforce protective measures. He ultimately framed the protection of children's rights as not only a legal duty, but a moral responsibility essential for securing Nigeria's future. As the nation observes the Children's Day, he urged all stakeholders to renew their commitment to providing a safe, nurturing, and supportive environment for every child. Also, the Pediatric Association of Nigeria, PAN, raised alarm over the alarming food poverty affecting 11 million children across the country. The association revealed that among these children, categorized under overnutrition and undernutrition, more than 2 million suffer from malnutrition, presenting a significant public health challenge for Nigeria. Speaking during an arts competition in Abuja themed around children's nutrition, the national president of PAN, Professor Ekanem Ikure, stressed critical role nutrition plays in unlocking every child's potential. She urged lawmakers to prioritize children's issues, emphasizing that genuine care for children must be reflected in policies, budget decisions, and interventions. Professor Ekure lamented the insignificant budget allocation for the health sector, highlighting that despite international targets recommending 50% of national budgets for health, Nigeria has consistently fallen short, often allocating less than one-third of these amounts. She pointed out that the recent health budget barely reached 5%, with only a small portion directed towards nutrition. Explaining the concept of food poverty, she stated that children need access to at least 8 essential food groups, including grains, fats, proteins, dairy, legumes, nuts, fruits, and vegetables, to maintain adequate nutrition. Failing on only 2 or fewer of these groups constitutes food poverty. She identified food shortages, insecurity, climate change, and lack of nutritional knowledge as contributing factors to this problem. Despite a reported increase in food poverty figures compared to previous years, rising inflation has worsened the situation, undermining efforts to improve children's nutrition. Consequently, PAN called for a renewed focus on children's welfare in all policy discussions and a dedicated sector to address their needs. In alignment with these concerns, Dr. Shidi Charles Olunam, head of pediatrics at the National Hospital, addressed children on the importance of nutrition during adolescence. He highlighted the high prevalence of malnutrition in this age group and warned against the growing trend of consuming junk foods, which are typically high in sugar, salts, and unhealthy fats but low in essential nutrients. Dr. Onanam noted that poor dietary choices, often influenced by peer pressure and concerns about body image, pose serious health risks that can extend into adulthood, increasing vulnerability to chronic diseases. Despite current economic challenges, he remains hopeful for improvement and encourages adolescents to make healthier food choices to ensure a balanced diet and better long-term health outcomes.
Meanwhile, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has assured Nigerian children that the legislature was committed to prioritizing policies and programs that would protect their rights and enable them explore their potentials. Akpabio made this disclosure at the National Assembly while addressing children at the Senate chamber in commemoration of the 2025 Children's Day. The Senate had earlier suspended its rules to admit the children into the chamber. Addressing the school children, the Senate's president urged them to shun drugs, dream big, work hard, and never give up on their aspirations.
Let's quickly dive into the history of Children's Day. Children's Day is a special observance celebrated in many countries around the world to honor children and raise awareness about their rights, welfare, and the unique challenges they face. While the dates and costumes vary across different nations, the central theme remains the same: to ensure that every child is loved, protected, and given equal opportunities to grow, learn, and thrive. The idea of dedicating the day to children dates back to the 19th century. One of the earliest known observances was initiated by Reverend Dr. Charles Leonard, a pastor of the Universalist Church of the Redeemer in Chelsea. On the second Sunday of June 1857, he held a special service for children, which he called Children's Day. Although this was a religious and local initiative, it planted the seed for a broader movement. The movement gained international attention in 1925 when representatives from various countries gathered in Geneva, Switzerland, for the World Conference for the Well-being of Children. The conference, which was held under the auspices of the League of Nations, addressed the alarming conditions many children face due to poverty, war, and lack of access to education and healthcare. As a result of this historic meeting, several nations began observing Children's Day, although there was no universally agreed upon date. Recognizing the importance of Children's Day, children, and their role in shaping the future, the United Nations took steps to formalize a Global Children's Day. In 1954, The UN General Assembly passed a resolution recommending that all countries institute a Universal Children's Day. The goal was to promote international togetherness, raise awareness among children worldwide, and encourage efforts toward improving children's welfare. The United Nations chose November 20 as Universal Children's Day for a significant reason. On that day in 1959, the UN adopted the Declaration of the Rights of the Child, a historic document that outlined children's basic rights, including the right to education, health care, and protection from abuse. 30 years later, on November 20, 1989, the Convention on the Rights of the Child (CRC) was adopted. The CRC remains the most widely ratified human rights treaty in history and serves as a cornerstone for child welfare laws and policies around the world. Let's dive into Nigeria. In Nigeria, Children's Day is celebrated annually on May 27, a date that is uniquely Nigerian and not aligned with the global Universal Children's Day observed on November 10. The celebration was formally established in 1964, following Nigeria's independence, as a way to emphasize the importance of children in the nation's development and to bring attention to issues affecting their growth and welfare. Over the years, May 27 has evolved into a nationally recognized holiday, celebrated in schools, communities, and government institutions across the country. The day is marked by parades, cultural performances, essay competition, and sporting activities. In many states, children are given the opportunity to take over symbolic leadership roles for the day, serving as governors, commissioners, and local government chairpersons to inspire leadership qualities and civic awareness. Children's Day in Nigeria also provides a platform for policymakers, non-governmental organizations, and civil society to highlight critical issues such as child labor, abuse, access to education, child health, and safety. It serves as a reminder that the future of Nigeria depends on how well the children of today are nurtured and supported.
Thanks for watching us today and for joining us on our journey of enlightenment. Morganable, your vehicle of enlightenment.